My girlfriend and I are buying a house, but I'm getting cold feet. Help. Firstly, I'm 28, and I have been dating my girlfriend, also 28, for going on 8 years in October. She is the first real relationship that I have had, partly because I've had a history of low self-esteem and not putting myself out there. I have dated a girl at university previously, but it was very short-lived. Firstly, in an objective sense, my GF has some interesting traits. We have pretty strong trust and honesty in each other, and she is also fine with me going out with my friend group a lot, especially in my early 20s. She herself doesn't have many friends. Her friend group from school was fragmented when they went their separate ways, and she has now pretty much fallen out of contact with the last 2 main friends she had at university. So now she spends most of her free time doing artwork and watching TV. The strange is she seems fine with this dynamic. She has tried to make friends on friend apps, but they have been half-hearted attempts, in all honesty, and she just seems largely happy with her own company and happy for me to go out frequently. I have questioned whether she is okay with this, and she makes some quips about me abandoning her for my boys, but they seem light-hearted unless she's bottling it up. And this has been the dynamic for a while. We dated for about a year, then moved in together with some friends during our final year of university. We spent a year in a long-distance relationship before moving in together at the start of COVID-19. One reason I feel our relationship is strong is that we lived in a small flat during the lockdowns and got along well. Sure, there were some arguments, but we put this down to working out how to live together and dealing with the stresses of the pandemic. Overall, we felt that we were getting along really well during COVID, and we have also taken some holidays together, including a 3-week travel stint, where again, we argued a bit, but nothing more than what you would expect from a healthy relationship. I feel that our communication is pretty clear. We've both been committed to the relationship. For example, I've become a lot more committed to the household chores, as initially, my girlfriend was not happy with my standard of cleaning, but she appreciates I've worked on that, and she's become more open to my brand of spontaneity and adventure. Otherwise she'd be happy watching TV all day. Our goals are largely aligned. We satisfy our sexual needs largely, and we are in a decent financial position. If anything, the only bugbears with her are that she gets very rude when she's hangry, and that we don't quite share the same sense of humor. Her humor is much darker, whereas mine is more silly/slapstick, but we do make each other laugh sometimes. But what has been making me uncomfortable is that I do sometimes feel awkwardness between us and a lack of connection. But I'm also moderately autistic, and I'm quite a socially awkward person in general, so I question if it's just me. But as time goes on, we grow as people. And in my case, I'm realizing I have a number of mental health issues to come to terms with. I won't spill everything here, but basically, I have significant issues with self-doubt, decision-making, and instant gratification. I'm realizing, particularly in the last couple of years, that as the relationship and life in general gets more challenging, I am just withdrawing into my phone, where I can get the instant buzz. I don't necessarily think it's the relationship I'm trying to hide away from, as I'm just as addicted to my phone when my GF is not around. The only times I can really control my phone use is when I'm around friends and family. I feel like this need for instant gratification stems from my lack of discipline and setting of goals when I was younger, meaning I always choose the easy route over the difficult, and this feeds into building human relationships. Whilst I do have friends, I am very much on the periphery of the main friend group. When I was a kid, I tried all sorts of different sports and clubs, but never made the step to commit to any of them long term. I think it's also affecting my career, as I've changed jobs twice in the last 2 years. At the time, I believed there were valid reasons, but now I'm questioning if I really wanted to commit to building a career there rather than seeing if the grass is greener. Basically, now in my late 20s, I've reached a point of clarity where I regret many things I haven't committed to, like traveling solo for 6 months to a year, joining a sports team, learning a musical instrument, and being in a band. I'm realizing the harm I've done to myself and my relationships by never fully committing to anything, always thinking there's something better to do. So now my girlfriend and I, having lived together for over 4 years, are looking to buy a house and just put in an offer. And now, I am seriously freaking out. All of the issues that I have been pushing to the back of my mind are coming to the fore. I keep thinking back to how we have a good connection, but not a great connection, and that our sense of humor is a bit different, and then I keep thinking that the grass could be greener. But then I reflect on my life, and how much I've avoided commitment, and think, is this just my fear of commitment? Considering this is one of the biggest commitments I'll ever make in my life. But then I think about how we do satisfy each other's needs pretty well. I have rather specific sexual interests, which she is usually happy to indulge me in, but wouldn't be sure another woman would, and I'm just doing this circle in my head. I keep going between buying the house, breaking up and traveling solo, and looking for someone more compatible, and I just have self-doubts over all of it. I've tried goal setting, but I don't think I truly know what I want because I've never felt like I had to think about it too much until now. I feel like I'm happy as I am, but I know I can't continue renting for the rest of my life. I'm just completely lost in doubt and fear. Would appreciate the thoughts of everyone. Note, my girlfriend and I have a very liberal attitude to marriage. She only wants to get married when she has kids, and I have my own reservations, probably because of commitment issues. Comment. Little Orange Monkeys commented, "Therapy, my dude," and put a pause on house buying. You can't possibly figure out if your relationship is right for you until you get your own head on straight. All these doubts and issues could be a sign of your own mental health struggles, and you might potentially blow up a great thing based on your own problems. Or, it could be a sign that you and she have grown apart, which is very common in relationships that begin in your early 20s. But you first have to work on your own shit so you can know which direction to go. The advantage is that you will be better off no matter how it goes. If you fix yourself and stay together, you'll be a better partner for her. If you break up, you will be a better partner for a new person in your life. Wittertaney commented, "To be honest, is the fear about the relationship or the house. Just because I bought a house myself, and I was racked with self-doubt before it, and cried once I got it, not happy tears. It all stemmed from this fear of making the wrong decision and feeling like it was a lot of responsibility. Realistically, it's one I can sell up and leave at any point and should be something to be proud of, but I also think I might be a little autistic myself. If this issue has only come up now that you're buying a house, it might be more of a commitment issue than a girlfriend issue, and whoever the girl is, you will feel the same."
Story 2.
Met a girl in another city who likes me more than I like her. Should I give it a shot or not to avoid wasting her time? To begin with, I'll tell you how we met. About 2 weeks ago, I went to another city to chill after a tough year at uni. I decided to spend my first day alone with myself, enjoying the city, and test the local bars in the evening. My friends highly recommended bar A to me. I went there, but there were no seats, so I went to bar B. I didn't like it there, and decided to check bar again. It was still packed. I left the bar, scanned the surroundings, and noticed a girl whose appearance and vibe seemed attractive to me. I crossed the road, lit a cigarette, texted a friend, and noticed her lighting up too, from the corner of my eye. She stood there looking at me from time to time while I was texting. I took it as a sign she was up for a talk and went up to her, and asked her if she was local and knew any nice bars with a pleasant audience around. She immediately jumped into the dialogue, told me about several interesting places, and then offered to show me around the night city. We immediately caught some kind of connection. We turned out to have a lot of common interests. We listened to the same music and so on. We were walking around the city center singing some 80s post-punk together. It felt like a scene from a rom-com of the early 2000s. Ended up at a bar far from where we met. Had a few beers and chatted for hours, sharing life stories and jokes. At 4 o'clock in the morning, we went for a walk further. And it felt like some kind of scene from a movie again. I didn't know the city well, so she led me to my rented place. We sat in the yard for like an hour and a half, chatting about everything. At about 6 in the morning, I walked her to the tram stop. We agreed to meet again. 3 days later, the day before my departure, we met again. As it turned out, she took time off from work just to spend the day with me. We went to all sorts of local cafes, drank coffee, tasted sandwiches, and then walked around areas where I had never been, snapping everything on film. The city raises its bridges at night for ships to pass through, and we walk so long that all the bridges go up. I can't get back home. We are trapped on an island for a couple of hours. During these hours, she confessed she really liked me and wished I didn't live so far away. I admitted feeling the same way. We held hands and kissed for quite a long time. Her side's bridges were lowered, but not mine, and I was really exhausted after walking more than 25 kilometers, so I stayed the night at her place. We kissed at her place for ages before falling asleep. I had to run away pretty early in the morning because I promised my bro to buy him some antique stuff at the local flea market, and it only works in the morning. She didn't let me go empty-handed and gave me her favorite postcard of the city, a beaded ring she made herself, and a photo booth snap of hers. It left me with a warm feeling in my heart. I thought about how we could totally have something special between us, but maybe not now since we live in different cities and long-distance relationships suck, as per my friend's experiences. But maybe later on, as I really want to move there once I finish my bachelor's, so help me God. Right now, we only text and call each other. And there's some weird shit going on inside of me. We have great conversations and can't get enough of each other, but it bugs me that she's rushing things very much. We've known each other for less than 2 weeks, and she's already making plans for our life together in case one of us moves in. She is already planning the interior of our house. These are not just some fleeting conversations, they are concrete plans. She has already confessed to some very deep feelings for me. Says she's never felt this way before. She thinks our meeting was destined, and the universe brought us together at that bar. She has a clear feeling that one day, I will definitely be her husband. She tells me how she turns down guys hitting on her by saying she's married, meaning me. She tells almost no one about our meeting because she's afraid of jinxing it. To her, I'm like something really special that needs to be protected. I get that the pace is too fast for me. I understand that my feelings aren't that deep. They are there. I feel a liking towards her, but definitely not as strongly as hers towards me. It's hard for me to accept the fact that you can feel this way about a person you've known not so long ago. For me, everything would be okay if we were in a relationship for a couple of months or so. But we are not even dating and barely know each other, and for some reason, I became less attracted to her appearance. I am terribly ashamed of this, and I'm kicking myself. So far, from our short time together, I've realized she's a wonderful person. Kind to people, loves animals, hardworking, smart, and knowledgeable. She's studying film at college, works as a photographer at a local vintage shop, sometimes sews and sells clothes, and rents an apartment without her parents' help. Overall, she's really cool. She doesn't care that I'm currently broke, living with my mother, and struggling with my studies, and she believes that the main thing is that I have goals in life and can go towards them. Sounds like the perfect potential girlfriend, doesn't it? I understand that now I'll get responses like, bro met the perfect girl and complains about something, but maybe someone was in a similar situation. Maybe I'm some fucked up narcissist. Maybe I'm too fucking choosy. I do not know. I don't know what to do. Should I give myself time? Maybe my feelings will get stronger over time? Or should I explain myself as soon as possible so as not to hurt her more in the future? I really don't want to hurt her at all, and I wonder what would happen if it were destiny. I usually don't believe in those kind of things, but... Comment. Device Afraid commented, I think the key here is to be honest with her about what you are feeling. It seems like she is moving way too fast for you, and you need things to slow down. It isn't normal to have conversations about someone being your husband 2 weeks after knowing them. Have an open conversation with her about where you are at, and see how she responds. If her response is to disregard your feelings as silly and go on about destiny some more, then move on. Before you do this though, think carefully about what you want in a relationship. What is important to you? She seems really nice if a bit overenthusiastic. She may have ADHD perhaps, and you have become hyper-focused, but you also admit to not being that attracted to her physically. That can often be a sign of an underlying lack of attraction beyond just the physical. You find her behavior annoying. If you fall for someone, truly and completely, you will not think negatively about their physical attractiveness. Nothing about them will annoy you. The best point to turn someone down is at the beginning. Don't let it drag out, as that will just cause both of you more pain.